Hello everyone, today we will be talking about PGP and GPG, and we'll learn and see that how we can use PGP and GPG to encrypt or decrypt the files. How do we generate the keys, the public key, the private key? How do we import or export them? And let's begin. So first let me tell you what is PGP and what is GPG. Pretty Good Privacy (PGP) is an encryption program that provides cryptographic privacy and authentication for data communication. PGP is used for signing, encrypting, and decrypting texts, emails, files, directories, and even the whole disk partitions, and to increase the security of email communication. Phil Zimmermann developed PGP in 1991, and since then it has evolved throughout time into different formats. Similar software to PGP now follow the Open PGP and open standard of PGP encryption software standard for encrypting and decrypting the data. PGP is the backbone of Open PGP that allows it to be used in software that is typically free to the public. The term Open PGP is often applied to tools, features, or solutions that support open source PGP encryption technology. The GNU PG or GPG stands for GNU Privacy Guard, which is a different implementation of the Open PGP standard. It is a very versatile tool being widely used as the industry standard for encryption of things like emails, messages, files, or just anything you need to send to someone securely. PGP is a proprietary solution owned by Symantec, and GPG is an open source standard. Functionally, each format is virtually identical. It's easy to get started with GPG and you can be on your way with using it in a matter of minutes. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to encrypt and decrypt files with GPG. The platform we are using to demonstrate the implementation is Kali Linux, and for the implementation in Kali Linux, we need to open up the terminal. So we will open up the terminal. So once the terminal is opened up, to use the GPG, we need to download its package. Now in order to download, there is a specific command to download it, which is sudo apt install GPG, and once you enter the command, press enter. It requires a password, so you need to enter the password you have set up for your system, and then it installs it. Since I had already installed it, so it just told me that GPG is already the newest version. But if you haven't installed it, you cannot encrypt or decrypt or use any of the GPG functionalities without installing the library, the package. So to start using GPG, you'll first need to have a GPG key. It is what you will use to encrypt or decrypt the files. It's also what is used to identify you with things like your name and email being tied to the key as well. GPG keys work by using two files or two keys, which are a private key and a public key. These two keys are tied to each other and are both needed to use all of the GPG's functionalities, notably encrypting and decrypting the files. So first we need to generate the keys. To generate the keys, we enter a command which is gpg space double hyphen full hyphen generate hyphen key. Once we write the command, press enter, and it asks us that what kind of key do we want and provides us with 5 different options. The first one is RSA and RSA, which is the default. Then it's DSA and LGML. Then DSA sign only, RSA sign only, or existing key from the card. If we have already a card consisting a key, we can use it as well. So in this case, we will select the default option RSA and RSA. So we just press 1 and enter, and then it asks us what should the key size be. It can be 1024 bits to 4096 bits long. So in this case, we'll enter 4096 and press enter. Then it asks us how long the key should be valid. Now 0 means that it does not expire. However, if we enter any other number, then it means that the key will be valid for a specific period of time. If we enter only the number, that means that the key will be valid for that specific particular number of days. If we add a W with the number, that means that particular number of weeks. If we add a month with the number, that means it will expire in that particular number of months. And if we add a Y, that means that it will expire in that particular number of years. So in this case, we'll go with 0, which means that it should not expire, and press enter. It requires us to confirm that is this correct, that you do not want your key to expire at all. We press Y and enter that yes, we do not want our key to expire at all. Now it needs us to construct a user ID to identify the key. So it requires us a real name. In this case, we'll enter the name as Alpha. We need to enter an email address. Let's enter alphasample@gmail.com and press enter. Now it requires a comment. Now it's not necessary to fill it out. It's an optional thing. We can or we cannot add a comment. So in this case, let's just add a comment that this is a PGP and GPG tutorial and press enter. Then it asks us if we want to change the name, comment, email, or anything, or everything is okay, or if we want to quit. So I don't want to change anything, so we'll just press OK and enter that everything's okay. And then it requires us a passphrase. Now passphrase is an important thing. You need to enter a passphrase which is complex. It should be a mix of small lowercase letters, uppercase letters, special characters, numbers. Now once we enter it, it requires us to a little time because it needs to generate a lot of random bytes, and then it tells us that it is a good idea to perform some other actions during the prime generation so that it can be generated better. There's a better chance to gain enough entropy. So we just wait a while, we just play along with the mouse a little, move it here, low. Let's see. Oh, it's a dragon. Wow. Okay, so now the keys are generated. This, as you can see, this is the key, and this is the real name, this is the comment we added, and this is the email. Now since we are done with this, now let's check the keys. Now let's check the public key and the private key, which are used to encrypt and decrypt the files, the message, the emails. To check the public keys, we have a command which is GPG space _ list space public not space hyphen keys, and then press enter. Now it shows us the public key. Now let's first clear the screen so it's easier to understand. Now let's check the private key, which is also called the secret key in this case, because the command is GPG _ list secret keys, and then we press enter, and this shows us the secret key. Now you can see that the private key and public key are both tied to each other by the ID shown here. The name, the real name, Alpha, this is the comment, and this is the email. So now we have seen the keys, we have generated the keys. Now we have seen both the private and public keys, and now that we have set up our GPG keys, this is where the main approach for encryption comes into play. It allows you to encrypt files locally and then allow others to be ensured that the files they received were actually sent from you. So we will encrypt a sample test file, which I have placed here on the desktop. Let's open it up. It says that this is a sample test file we will be using to explain the implementation of PGP, and that it's just random text, $, and it's placed on the desktop. Since it is placed on the desktop and we are now at the root directory, we need to go to the desktop directory. So in order to go to the desktop directory, we need to enter the command cd space desktop and we press enter. Now you can see we are in the desktop directory. And now let's begin the encryption. Now the command first we will write the command for encryption, and then we'll move ahead, and then I'll explain what it means. We'll write GPG double hyphen encrypt double hyphen output, and then now let me explain you what it actually means. Now encrypt here, as the name suggests, it means that we are calling the encrypt function. We are going to encrypt a file. Now what file are we going to encrypt? It is present here. This is the name of the file we are going to encrypt, test.txt. This output means that we are storing the key, the encrypted file here. Now what is this? This is the name of the file we encrypted, test.txt, and .gpg here is the extension of the encrypted file, and it will be stored on the desktop since we are in that directory. Recipient is the receiver, and this is the email of the recipient. So now we press enter and nothing came up. However, as you check, there was nothing on the desktop before. It was just the test file, the test.txt. But now let's check what is present on the desktop. In order to check what is present on the desktop, we just press ls, enter, and now you can see we have two files here, test.txt and test.txt.gpg. Now this is the file we encrypted, and this is the encrypted file itself. Let's compare the contents of both the files. In order to display the content, we press cat test.txt. First, let's open the original file. This was the content of the original file. However, now let's check what is the content of the encrypted file. Now the content of encrypted file is, as you can see, that the contents are gibberish and are incomprehensible and cannot be understood by anyone until and unless they decrypt it using the private key. The only way they'll be able to decrypt the file is with the private key, which would only work if the file was encrypted using your public key in the first place, thus allowing the others to publicly post files without worrying of people besides you being able to read them. So before decrypting, let's delete the original text file from the desktop so we can decrypt and display the contents of the encrypted file. We go to the desktop. This is the test.txt original file, and we deleted it. So now it's deleted, and you can see this is our encrypted file. And that's how it looks like. We cannot understand anything, so we just close it and we go back to the terminal. Let me clear it. Okay, so now we are going to decrypt the encrypted file. So let me first write down the command, and then I will explain it, what it means. Now here, this decrypt here means that we are going to decrypt a file. And what file are we going to decrypt? This is the file we are going to decrypt. This is the name of the file, test.txt.gpg, which you saw was the encrypted file. Output here means that we are going to output into some file, and what will be the name of the file? The name of the decrypted file will be decrypted.txt. So now we press enter, and it requires us the passphrase. Now we need to enter the passphrase we used earlier. So the passphrase we used earlier, we will enter that passphrase and press enter, and the command is executed. Now it tells us that that particular test.txt.gpg file was encrypted with a 4096-bit RSA key with this particular ID. It was created on this date. This was the real name and the comment and the email. Okay, so now you're done. That's all there is to it when you want to encrypt and decrypt files with GPG. But now let's check the files present in the directory once again. And we print ls, and you can see there are two files, decrypted.txt, test.txt.gpg. Now let's first display the encrypted files content, which are cat.test.txt.gpg, and this is what it looks like. It's completely not understandable. But however, now let's display the contents of the decrypted file. cat decrypted.txt, and when we press enter, now after decryption, this is the content. And if you remember, this is a sample test file we will be using to explain the implementation of PGP. This was the exact same content present in our original test.txt file. You can see that it is no more gibberish. It is easily understandable now, and that's it. The only other thing you may want to know is how to share your public keys with others so they can encrypt files before sending them to you. So before we move on ahead, let's clear the screen, and now we need to export a key. But what key? Obviously we don't remember that, so for that we will display the keys. We need to send the public key, so let's display the public key. Now in order to export the key, we need this particular ID. So we copy this one, as you cannot easily remember it, and now we enter a command to export a key. The command to export a key is GPG space _ output, now key.gpg. Now we are sending it as key.gpg, so then they are sure that this is the key. This is the key used to encrypt the other GPG encrypted file. And what key are we exporting? This is the key we are exporting, the same particular key we generated earlier before. So now we press enter, and that's it. That's how you export a key. And now we'll check how do we import a key. Importing a key is very similar. Let's say we have exported a key and we send it to a recipient along with the original text, along with the encrypted text message. How will he import a key and use it to decrypt the message, the encrypted message? So in order to import a key, the command is gpg space _ import space key.gpg, the same name of the file we exported earlier. So now we press enter. It checks the key, and now you can see that that's how we import the key. So to use the key normally, you will need to verify the key so GPG properly trusts it. This can be done by running an edit key command on the other user system, following by assigning the key. The other user, by other user I mean the recipient. So how do we verify the key? In order to verify the key, we have the edit key command, and the edit key command is gpg -edit -key, and then we put the same key there, we paste it, and next we will run the fpr command, which will show the fingerprint for the key. But before doing that, we press enter, and this is what we are displayed. It says that the secret key is available. Now we press fpr. It is to show the fingerprint for the key, and then we press enter. It tells that the primary key fingerprint is this, which is in a hexadecimal format. So the output of this command should be validated against the output on your own machine, which can be found by running the same edit key command on your system. So next we will sign the key. Now, how do we sign the key? There's nothing tricky in that. We just need to type sign here. If everything matches up, just run the sign command and everything will be ready to go. We press enter and that's it. We have signed the key. And then we press Ctrl C. We clear it. I interrupted it so because that's it. That's what we need to do. So that was precisely how we generate the keys, encrypt the files, decrypt the files, share the keys, import them and export them, and how PGP is nowadays utilized with GPG. It is very easy and simple to use, and it is a good privacy encryption and decryption algorithm.